Hello, everyone. Welcome to another video from Planet Papa. And going to do a wrestling video today. Haven't done one in a while, other than the short I did last night. So you may or may not know what this is going to be about. But the Elimination Chamber last night. We are in full swing with WrestleMania season, and the Elimination Chamber was last night. And I'm not gonna lie, I had every intention of doing this video just to rip on the pay per view, because I mean, it just I wasn't that impressed with it, but the ending made it all worthwhile. Um, it's just like the women's elimination chamber match. First of all, Naomi was eliminated like before the match even started, and then because of Jade Cargill's interference or attacking her, uh, and then there was the women's tag team match with Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus uh, like Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. That match, I don't know why that was on the pay per view. I mean, I think it could have been just as easily on Raw or SmackDown. I don't know if they were didn't even have ideas for other matches. And then there was the Sami Zayn and then the men's elimination chamber. Like I said, I mean, I said to my son, I was like, this is one of the weirdest pay per views that I've ever seen. And then, like, to finish the pay per view with the confrontation with Rock and Cody Rhodes about he wants Cody's soul. I was like, you don't see pay per views usually end with something like that. So I mean, I was, especially with John Cena winning, because I know everybody, some people maybe thought that John Cena would get his 17th title reign and he was going to win it. I didn't think it because just how with Cena, his last, I don't think he's won a singles match in like 3 years or something like that. Not that he wrestles a lot, but I like I said, I was all in thinking, ready to rip it to pieces from beginning to end. But the shocker of all shockers, I mean, John Cena, like if you had if you, I'm sure you've watched it if you or saw the highlights of it, Cody Rhodes, of course, turned the Rock down, and then the shocker of a lifetime, John Cena turned heel and sided with The Rock. I was absolutely stunned. I mean, this has to be the biggest heel turn since, Hulk Hogan, turning heel to go NWO. I mean, the people have been wanting Cena to turn heel for years, and turned it down, didn't want to do it, stayed, even though he many times he got booed out of the building, you know, he stayed as a face. And it was shocking. I mean, especially on his, farewell tour, I think everybody thought it was going to be like, you know, like a goodwill, appearances, matches here and there, that it was going to be, smiling for the camera and kissing babies and things like that. But I stunned. I mean, I was watching it with my son, and my son is a big John Cena fan. He actually was pulling from the Elimination Chamber. And if you watch the short that I did last night, you could hear Gino in the background, like, I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. I mean, and that's got to be a lot of kids because, I mean, the kids still love Cena. I mean, a lot of the kids from, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago are not kids anymore, but he still has a huge fan base with the kids. I mean, does a lot with Make a Wish Foundation. I mean, just absolutely stunned. I mean, I'm and the you know, and I was so aggravated at how that he like because I that he won it. I mean, if anything, I actually thought CM Punk was going to win it, and then how they did the backstage interaction with him and Cody Rhodes this past week. Talking about, oh, I would have took the deal, and then Cody Rhodes looking at him, and then he's like, oh, like shine it up, turn it sideways. I thought for sure CM Punk was going to win it, and then he was going to turn on Cody and side with The Rock. I thought for sure that was what was going to happen, but no, it was John Cena, and I'll tell you what, like wrestling fans are like everything I've read online, like they're just like a lot of the fans are, excited that he turned heel, but at the same time they're shocked. I'm just like I said, like they need to play this right though, because I know a lot of fans are hoping they bring back the Doctor of Thugonomics persona. I think that could be if they want this to go over right and make Cena a monster heel, and get this storyline to work. They can't do anything like that. They can't. They can't do anything like that because if they bring back that persona, the fans are going to go nuts for Cena. And if they wanted to do this right or make him a monster heel, they need to keep it like they need to bring him out and just like because I mean, when you think about it, he's got a lot of ammunition he could use in why he did it. A lot of ammunition. Um, so it's going to be very interesting to see how they do this. Um, I'm like I said, I'm sure everybody is going to be watching Raw tomorrow, and they're going to be like thinking maybe he'll show up or on SmackDown on Friday. But it is going to be very interesting. Because at the press conference last night, he didn't say anything. He walked into the press conference, looked at the camera, people, in the press conference, took out the microphone and just went like this and dropped it like mic drop. So he didn't say anything. So I mean, and from like listening to Triple H last night, Paul Levesque, uh, it was a well guarded secret. Nobody knew backstage. Like nobody knew what was going down. And it just, like I said, it was so well. I mean, like I said, for me, that saved the pay per view. I mean, it made actually, because I was, the whole pay per view, I was like, the men's match was good. The Sami Zayn match I thought was okay, but it didn't like really stand out to me. Um, but I can't wait to see how they play this. I mean, it saved the paper because, like I said, I came in here today, thinking, oh, if they're going to do a babyface versus babyface thing, and, like with Cena and Rhodes, I mean, this is going to suck, and like they hats off to Triple H, and and like hats off because that I mean, this is like the most shocking heel turn, like since Hogan joining the NWO. I mean, there's nothing remotely close to this. There's not. I mean, there's nothing remotely close to this. I mean, Cena has been so adamant like over the last 10 like since they started calling him to become heel, turn for him to become heel. He wasn't having it. But hats off because I mean, like it took me from like wanting to rip on it, like oh my god, that was great. I mean, granted, it was the last like 10 minutes or so, or 15 minutes, however long that took, but um, I mean, that was one of the most shocking things I've ever seen in wrestling. I mean, like I said, the only thing that comes, I mean, I'm not saying with Cena turning heel, this is bigger or more meaningful than when Hogan, because when Hogan joined the NWO, it changed the wrestling industry. I mean, that was what catapulted us into the Monday Night Wars, and I mean, it changed the industry. I'm not putting that on on that level as far as like how it's going to change the industry, but I mean, you cannot like I mean, you can tell me one heel turn of this magnitude besides Hogan that this can compare to, or is better than this. You can't. You can't. I mean, but very excited to see where this goes, and I'm just like I said. I mean, hats off to WWE and like the creative, and because I mean this was a shocker, and when you think about it, over the last since Royal Rumble, when you think about it, you had even John Cena in the press conference, in the press conference he gave when he spoke at the press conference, saying that I'm declaring myself as one of the participants in the Elimination Chamber, and I'm not going to have to qualify. I've earned this, and I mean when he said that, I was just like, okay, but this is John Cena. This is just and a lot of people wouldn't argue with that. Like everything that he's done for the company, and like what he did for it. I mean, but I mean, like how he said it. When you look back at it now, it's like like all right, and like and then even uh, at the end of the Elimination Chamber, where Seth Rollins attacks CM Punk. And then, you look at Cena and you look shocked. And instead of like, like doing the right thing and trying to, help Punk back in to finish the match or whatever, he just immediately runs over, pulls him in, and, puts him in the submission hold. So, I mean, like when you look at it like that, but I mean, like I when I was watching it with my son, and before he turned heel, yeah, I mean, I thought, man, it's not going to happen. I looked at my son and I said, man, could you imagine Cena attacks Cody Rhodes and he turns heel, and then literally, it's not out of my mouth, and like a minute or two later, it happened, and I just remember I watch it, I'm like. I'm like, oh my God, he turned heel. But let me know what you think. WrestleMania, well, it was beginning to look like a little bit of a WrestleMania is now everybody's talking about it. And let me know what you think. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, comment, let me know what you think. We'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.